An elimination is on the line. Welcome back everyone to VALORANT Challengers North America, where today it is the day to say goodbye to two of our teams who are gonna end up their dreams of making it to Ascension and making it to the Tier 1 today. I'm gonna be your host and I'm joined by two experts on the field. It is Psycho and Roy on the desk. Psycho, of course, with the glasses, with the vibes, feeling pretty good about yesterday as well.
Oh, feeling great after yesterday. One of my favorite teams won. I always love to see that. Very close fought match that
no bias.
Everybody was entertained by. Yeah, no bias whatsoever. Just a casual fan enjoying my favorite VALORANT team. No big deal.
Yeah, and Roy, you were just talking about it. The matches in general yesterday were crazy. That was not even elimination just yet, so I can't wait to see what's going to happen today.
Yeah, the matches yesterday were actually fire. I was not on the broadcast, but I was in chat just typing it away. It was amazing matches. The level of VALORANT that we're seeing from these teams is actually impeccable. I think what we're about to see today as well is going to be pretty interesting. But Don, I think they're bringing us on to be the Grim Reapers, right? We're part of the first lowers bracket. We're going to see the first teams be eliminated today, so it's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, we're the sending off party. We're sending the teams to the depths. Down is the ocean, but there's always next year, right? So somebody's got to lose in order for somebody to win, and there can only be one. That's what Ascension is all about.
Deep.
Yeah, it is only going to be one team or two teams making it in representing North America, and then only one team that is going to make it through Ascension to that Tier 1. And it can be any of the teams that we have right now, but as we talked about, we're going to have to say goodbye to two of them today. And in the lower bracket, and our first match of the day is going to be Dark Zero against Fluffy Gamers. Let's check out this video to introduce the match.
Our year so far has been a roller coaster, despite our record and despite how good it might seem on the outside. It was, a bit of a roller coaster. A lot of stuff has happened, but I'm ultimately just very proud. 100% been the best team I've ever played on. And so I'm proud of us and how good we've done despite all the setbacks and all the things that have been happening that are just out of our control. We don't have weeded, that's just the hardest thing overall in all the season. I should say thank you though to everyone who has been along with us for this ride. And then we have, we have to deal with the, problem of weeded's cancer, and, prayers up for that guy. He's fighting, and this is obviously such a tough thing for him, and I would like to say that's like our biggest driving factor. We're doing this for more than ourselves now. We want to win it all, not just for ourselves, not just for our own reasons, but we want to win it for him.
Blinn got this attack down to a science. Now let's experiment a little bit more. Heading into Boba, Adder can shut that one down, and you will not need to repeat that one. An ace for the Cypher.
The team's journey so far has been pretty good. We've made a lot of progress since Split 1. We had a different roster in Split 1, and we changed our roster during Split 2. We have a really good strategy from our team from the top down, and our mechanics. We feel like we could out-aim anyone in Tier 2 right now, and even in Tier 1. So we're definitely strong in both those categories. So when the time comes, we'll show those mechanics and strategy in these playoff games. We covered a lot of ground pretty fast, and we started off a little shaky losing to Winthrop, but we brought it back together throughout the season to finish off with Dark Zero and clinching that playoff spot. So I think we've made great strides together, and I think there's a lot more that we can show as the playoffs progress, and hopefully into Ascension.
Instantly down in number, they have to have that respect. A shot through Waterfall, the information, and that's going to be one captured. Shooting him out, but if you shoot towards him, you're losing time to try and push out onto the site. Sometimes just gotta let him go. Corey down. Only two left to try and keep Dark Zero in this. Pancakes yet again, the step up. 4 on the round.
The teams are good and the teammates even more amazing, but we have some great news for today, and guess what? Weeded is back. He's gonna be playing today for the team of Dark Zero, Psycho, which, the vibes are good. He's always happy to play every time that he has a chance to do so, and he's been playing. He was gone for that last match, but we love to see him playing. We love to see how good he is and how good he's been performing, even when the circumstances are not the greatest.
Absolutely, and you touched on it there, right? He is the vibes merchant for this team. He's the heart and soul of Dark Zero Esports VALORANT. And having him back has to be just a huge morale boost for the team. You know, I know from experience having him back at XSET what he can do. You know, when we lost him at XSET, I had to completely train up a new guy to be a vibes merchant. So I understand the value that he brings to a team and what you miss when you don't have him in your roster, and all of a sudden you have to fill that gap. So having him back in there is huge for the guys. Got to have everybody, you know, feeling really good. But that being said, you know, Rockets played pretty well as a sub, you know, in this last match, Roy. I think, you know, he really stepped up when the team needed him. I wasn't expecting him to have such a strong showing. You know, honestly, Rockets, he's been out of competitive play for a while. He even had a stint in coaching, so it was cool to see him back.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie and say I was not suspicious when they picked up Raucus as their stand-in. But he played extremely well. But beyond the intangibles of Weeded, I would like to point out the fact that the roles just feel much more natural with Weeded on the team. Whereas like yesterday or 2 days ago during their match, looked like some of the roles were swapped, like on like a map like Haven, for example, and it seemed like it was causing some sort of like a disconnect in their harmony. And I feel like with Weeded coming back, that sort of role harmony is going to be restored, and it's going to bring a lot more comfort and a lot more performance for everyone on the team.
Yeah, comfort, the key point there for sure. You know, we saw Raucus picking up the breach on Haven, like you said, whereas Corey is usually the breach on that map. You know, and having to shift those roles around, having Raucus, you know, play Viper and Smokes on some maps where that's not necessarily been his strength historically in the past at the professional level. So this is definitely, you know, fitting much more into the comfort of roles. But not only that, bringing back your chemistry, everything you've worked on throughout the last few seasons in terms of playbook and developing that depth. You now have that with your 5 key players back in the server.
And the whole team, you can tell they really want to win. You see in the way that they're playing, in the way that they have that synergy, and the way that Weeded is able to be, like you were saying, Taika, that vibes merchant that is keeping everybody, you know, we can win this match, we can keep it going, we can continue on this lower bracket run, and it really seems like it's possible. Dark Zero is one of the favorite teams that we have to make it to Ascension, to go all the way to Mexico. But yeah, they're gonna have to go through the lower bracket run, and it's not an easy matchup because they're gonna go against a Fluffy Aimers that now we get the chance to talk about them. Last time that they faced each other, it was a Fluffy Aimers who took that win against Dark Zero, Roy.
Yeah, I mean, Fluffy Aimers are actually such an underrated roster, right? Because they have firepower in the roles that they need to, and they also have a very flexible support system between Mame and Pancakes, allowing people like Bones and Neptune and Jonah 6 to really pop off. And they also kind of have a very under-discussed, underrepresented coach, right? Like they have Shinobi, a person who's been in the scene for a long time. He's really smart. I feel like he doesn't really get any credit or any lights. I would like to shine a little bit of credit towards him because they have come up with pretty solid ideas on a lot of their maps.
Yeah, certainly. Shinobi going way back to his IGLing days, and now in there as a coach, you know, continuing to lead strategy for teams in Valorant. Someone who's been around for a while, as have a lot of these players, right? Mame on the original NB roster that was so dominant back in its time. Jonah P's been on the come up for such a long time. I mean, this is a roster who, even Neptune, right? Neptune, I was just saying before the match with Roy, you know, he's someone who's been around for a very long time. He was on that Immortals roster in early beta. You know, tons of teams, just as someone who's always been a solid player in his role and enables the rest of his team to be stars. So, you know, matching that up alongside the firepower of Bones, you have a really good, well-rounded team who can make a deep run in these playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, one final point that I would like to talk about Neptune as well is he's been in esports since he was like 12 or 13 or something, I swear. He's been around for a long time, so like don't be fooled by his age. He has like a decade of esports experience under his belt. So he's kind of a veteran, even though he's also a zoomer. It doesn't make sense, but just roll with it. But yeah, as you can see, Fluffy Aimers do have a pretty decent map pool. I mean, they play a lot of the maps, except there are 2 maps they haven't shown yet. They haven't really shown their Icebox, and they haven't shown their Haven. So I'm expecting one of those to be coming out today in today's series.
Especially because, as we've talked about, that last week that we had of the regular season, it was Fluffy Aimers who got away with that win over Dark Zero, and that one was one that we were not expecting. I feel like for Fluffy Aimers, they have always been, as you were saying, Roy, this dark horse team that we don't really know what to expect. We know they're good, but we're waiting for that time, for that moment when they're going to be the difference maker, when they're going to win against every single one of those tougher opponents. And this is when we get the chance to see how that match played out. And Psycho, it was very close between the two, but even then on that map of Bind that you see, it was a 13-6. We saw Weeded fighting to get the win and ends up going the way of Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, this was a tough match for Dark Zero. You know, I know they've been on the struggle bus. There's a lot of things going on that, you know, probably are affecting their atmosphere right now. And on the other end, you know, Fluffy Aimers on the come up, really settling into their groove towards the end of the season. And this culminated in a matchup here that really went in Fluffy's favor on most maps, right? Even Sunset, which Dark Zero managed to take away, it was a 14-12 overtime affair. It was no close match for Dark Zero by any means. This seemed like Fluffy Aimer's match to be in the bag pretty much the entire time.
It was full control on the first and the last map. That second one, it went all the way to overtime and it pushed them to the map 3. But yeah, the question is in what shape we're going to be seeing this Fluffy Aimer squad, because that week 6, that first matchup of playoffs, that first matchup of playoffs especially, maybe it wasn't the greatest, they didn't get away with the win, but this is one of the teams that at any point in time, they can really come out of nowhere. So we're going to see, depending on where the maps go, if they're going to win again, Roy.
Absolutely. I mean, my prediction is that this is going to be at minimum a very intense series between these two teams, right? Like they're no strangers, and a lot of teams and challengers have played against each other, obviously, but these two teams specifically have played each other only about 2 weeks ago. So like their level of play is pretty fresh. They're kind of comfortable with the tempo. Like they sort of understand. So I think there's going to be a very added layer of like strategy and mind games going on between these two teams that we'll probably won't see in any other matchup, really.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, in these rematches, especially close rematches within a couple of weeks, it usually statistically tends to favor the team that lost, tends to come back and win, especially when the rosters are as close as they are, right? And so that's the question, right? Is with Weeded being back, is this roster invigorated enough and locked in enough to take down Fluffy Aimers and get their revenge? Honestly, I think that they have the spice. I think that they're ready to do the job and get it done.
I like that take of, you know, the team that loses, once you have to play again, you have more advantages. Would you think, or are you saying that's also because when you make those mistakes, you're able to fix them? And so, especially when the matches are so close, Psycho?
Yeah, definitely. I think it plays a lot into, you know, you learn more from a loss than a win, right? So you're seeing what kind of holes tactically are being exposed by the other team, what kind of strategies they're using to overcome you. And you have a couple weeks now to kind of shore up those issues, right? And fill in those holes and make sure that those same weaknesses aren't exposed when you come up against that team the second time, as well as getting a fresh VOD review on them and seeing how they like to play and seeing what kind of weaknesses they have that they might not realize are there because you didn't properly expose them that first time around.
Yeah, I mean, even beyond that as well, like there is a level of sort of anti-strategy that is happening. Like it is one thing to study these teams, but when you experience how they play in the server, it is a completely different thing, right? Like prep work can only do so much. So I'm expecting to see like a sort of difference in veto approaches as well. Like I really doubt we see the same maps we saw last time, but there's going to be a lot of give and take and sort of flexibility and mind games in the veto as well as in the maps, like Psycho was saying. So I think we're going to see a pretty fresh series despite the fact that these two teams played recently.
We've seen both kind of approaches when it comes to going through to a rematch. Sometimes the teams want to play the exact same maps and we'll see them again. And for other times, it'll be, as you were saying, Roy, completely different. So let's go into the map select. Let's see what we're going to be playing today, where we're going to be headed today, Cycle. And this one goes very slow. So give me your thoughts as we see what they're going to be playing.
Well, off the bat, you know, I'm seeing a ban on Lotus from Dark Zero, right? And that makes a lot of sense. You know, they lost it in the last matchup 13-4. They obviously felt like, you know what, this is not a map where, you know, we can fix the issues that are being exposed. Let's just go ahead and ban it and take our luck on Haven here. So you're seeing Fluffy are going to pick that Haven. Dark Zero are going to pick the Sunset. Obviously, they took that win in the last matchup, although it was in overtime, very close match, but it was still a map that went in Dark Zero's favor, right? So they obviously feel very comfortable on there, right? Yeah. And we'll see the bind again. Again, you know.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was going to say the one thing about Haven that's kind of throwing me off as well is Dark Zero didn't actually look that insane on the map. Like, yeah, they were a little comfortable on it, but they kind of got blown out of the water. But maybe they think that it was kind of a fluke because they did not have Weeded and there were some role swaps when they were playing against their last matchup. So it kind of makes sense. But in that regard, we haven't seen Fluffy Aimers play Haven yet. It's one of their map pools that they've sort of kept in their sleeves. So it's going to be a lot of like X factor on the side of Fluffy Aimers where we don't really know what to expect, and neither does Dark Zero. So they don't really have that much prep on the map. And so I think Fluffy Aimers actually might low-key have won the veto here in some weird way.
Definitely possible.
It could be. Yeah, it could be in the way that these maps play out. And this is what you need to pull up when you come to playoffs, when you come to the finals, when you're trying to make it to Ascension. This is what we're seeing, that the cards that the teams are playing on, the map pool, the agents that they're changing, the ideas that they have, everything that they've been prepping throughout the year for this moment. But before we keep going, we want to remind you guys, and we want to thank our sponsor, Blacklight. They are great at understanding what us, the pro players, everybody needs when it comes to desks, to chairs, to being comfortable. I mean, Psycho has the chair. There's no better explanation. If he has it, you guys need to get one. You can get 20% off if you go to their website and you put VALORANT 20. You'll get a 20, and then you can get comfortable. You can play your games. You can win your games being comfortable and feeling great. I mean, he's He's vibing.
He's
so
chilling.
if that's
He's
not
chilling.
a way to sell this product, I don't know what is. Yeah, he's vibing.
He's vibing.
And-
Comfortable chair.
okay. We're vibing. The players are vibing. They're almost ready for this match as well. And Roy, what was your prediction for today? And has that changed since you saw the maps?
Ooh, okay. So my prediction was that this was going to be a Dark Zero. I mean, their story is just too good. It's like, it's kind of hard to hate their story, right? They've had many trials and tribulation. They have weeded now. There's probably a resurgence of confidence, a resurgence of energy. I mean, it's going to be a whole different vibe. I think we're gonna see a pretty interesting matchup, but I'm giving the edge slightly towards Dark Zero. I think they've learned a lot from their last loss, as well as their last loss to Fluffy Aimers, and they're the type of team that is completely down to evolve and learn very quickly from their mistakes, and I don't think they'll make those mistakes twice.
What are you thinking, Psycho?
You know, I'm gonna have to give the edge towards Dark Zero, right? I think it's yeah, of course. You know, hive mind over here, Royko, if you will. But you know, it's really it's a story, right? Like, think of the story. You know, Weeded's coming back into the lineup. The kind of boost that gives to morale, team atmosphere. They're getting all that chemistry back. They feel like this is something that they need to dig deep and do for Matt and you know, bring them up to these playoffs. I think that they're going to be firing on all cylinders today, right? And that's not to take away from Fluffy Aimers. They have an exceptional team, lots of shooters on that team that will be shooting, and it will not be easy for Dark Zero to overcome this. But that being said, I think that Dark Zero have the sauce if they can just dig deep, lock in, and really hit their flow state today.
And I feel like one of the points that we mentioned, or we saw even in the video, was Mame when he was talking about how the team has really good aim. He says even better than the tier 1 players, than the tier 2 players. And I feel like that's something that we're going to have to be seeing today, especially when you're going in a Corey, that when he's playing on the Raze, when he's playing that comfort, he looks insane. And that can also be an answer to play around, because Corey, we've seen with the Neon, we've seen with the Raze, he's played Sova, he's played whatever, and that's always been his mentality, Roy, of, you know, I'll play whatever the team needs, and a lot of the times it is, hey, we won you on the duelist, you're pretty good at it, and that's the way that they've been winning, and the way that they could win today.
Yeah, I mean, the flexibility is the name of the game between these two matchups, right? Like, almost every player in this server can play multiple roles. Like, you even have Bones, the youngest player in the league, able to play like controllers, he's able to play Sentinel, he's able to play initiators, now he's down the duelist. Like, any role you put some of these players in, they're going to perform exceptionally well. And I think that, to me, is why this matchup is very interesting, because these players it's not unlikely to see them play 3 different agents in a 3-map pool, right? Like, they're so flexible, and the level of versatility is pretty impressive, to be honest.
Definitely impressive. I mean, just flexibility out of the wazoo for these teams. I mean, we did really, playing the solo smoke agent, but other than that, pretty much everybody is able to flex into different areas. But I really like the Corey on the duelist. He brings it back to the old Smeeg era of phase, and just running it down. I mean, it's in this guy's blood, really. When this guy is just given the freedom and the support behind him, it's just Smeeg in there and get kills and frag out. It's his comfort zone. You see him hit this flow state, and sometimes it's just a scary thing.
He can also be the selfless duelist, where he has to go in, create that space with a Neon, and he's gonna do that. Maybe he'll die a couple times, but it's fine. He created the space, and that's the way that Dark Zero wins some of those rounds. But let's jump into the agents select, though. Let's figure out what the two teams are gonna be playing today, Dark Zero and Fluffy Aimers, for map number 1 of Haven. And I mean, we talked about the Corey, but did we talk about Reyna? It's gonna be a duel between 2 duelists, B-Dog on the Jet, Corey on the Reyna, and on the other side, Psycho, you have Bones on Neon.
Yeah, I like seeing Corey on the duelist, but usually we're seeing him on the movement duelist, right? The schmovement duelist. He's usually on the Neon. He's on the Raze. He's flying around. He's using his movement to outposition players, overwhelm them, and get kills. But I like this confidence pick from Corey. He's obviously feeling it with his aim. He wants to swing and take these fights as Reyna. And Reyna is a feast or famine agent, right? If you're swinging and getting those kills, getting those heals, getting those dismisses on good timings, you're going to be a menace in the server. But if you're getting shut down, your utility is not very useful for the rest of the team.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side as well, I'd like to point out that Fluffy Aimers are pulling a meta that we haven't seen. I mean, we've seen this meta a long time ago, but we haven't seen it recently, at least not in Challengers as well. They're pulling out the double controller on this map with the Neon that is able to kind of provide that, supplement the fact that they don't have a breach, so they can still take control of the map. They still have the, gotta go fast playstyle, but they also have a lot of control utility. So the clash of playstyles between these two teams is going to be really fun to watch.
I'm pretty sure that with this Reyna pick, we've seen almost, if not every single duelist so far be played in Challengers. I mean, that is what you get in this Tier 2. That is what you get when it's elimination match. Let's find out who takes this map of Haven between Dark Zero and Fluffy Aimers. Casters, Shift and Wyatt, take it away.
I'm muted on VMix. That's a painful moment. It's just a moment between Wyatt and myself. It was a great opening, I'll tell you that much.
The way you were just ranting with such excitement, no idea what the hell this guy was saying. I'm trying to dive into the dusty tomes here, Shift, open them up and see what's going on with this comp. Has anyone ever played this before? What's going on? I was going back and it made me think of Paper X, and they did in fact play this before.
There you go.
This is something that Paper X played before on Haven. I don't know if that's Dark Zero's inspiration for this. It's kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, they lost their last game on Haven to Blinn. They didn't just lose it. They got stomped into the dirt, right? Like, that was a tough showing. But that was without Weeded. That was with a role swap. And prior to that, they beat Oxygen on this map with a standard meta comp with Jet Breach, all that stuff. But no, we've gone away from that all. We're coming in today with some crazy new stuff.
And I came off the throw saying, I need some justice for Phoenix. Never forget. He's the one agent we haven't seen at all throughout Challengers this year. Pain, pain, pain. Get a quick little flash and push right on over towards the B site. Killjoy utility is in place, so just gonna push off Fluffy Aimers just a touch. Paranoia also coming across the site as Dark Zero want to contest this early and often, and Adder for the backside of the site able to find the first 2 kills. Spike also down.
And nicely done so far. You have to imagine the morale's pretty solid for Dark Zero today, getting their boy Weeded back in the server with them. I'll be trying to wrap around, try and pinch these players, but realistically, how can Fluff Gamers get back in?
Well, that's at least something to work with. Neptune is still stuck in the corner. A couple of tags from the Ghost, also keeping him at very restrictive HP. But this is taking time here, and the longer this goes, maybe the more beneficial it could be for Fluffy Aimers, but Mummy not quite able to get out of that backside garage position. Neptune is still stuck in the corner, and this is all relying on the fact that Jonah can hit a good piece of timing to come around this flank from the A connector, and as B-Dog gets the one tap, Neptune will drop. Great stuff, though, from Adder, just to single-handedly hold off the hit from Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, 100%. He gets those high-impact kills and makes the job for everyone else all too easy. Just play quite passively, hold the proper angles for each other, and clean things up. So immediately Dark Zero off to a great start. Already half the rounds that they got the last time they played this map, Shift. So
no,
they can already eclipse that early on here. Now they've been really good on this map. There was just the obvious troubles caused by having to make those role swaps, etc. last time, and now things should be looking much better for them. I mean, this is a team that we're beating Oxygen, that we had at the absolute top of the rankings. Great shot from Neptune, though.
We did sneaking out towards grass. Has seen Mummy. Doesn't look like maybe Mummy had the same information. Maybe not initially, but Neptune backs up, finds his second. Eventually, we start to see the benefit of winning the pistol starting to come through. But Spike's going to get planted here today. And honestly, Outlaw Bulldog with maybe a shock dart and a recon, it just doesn't feel all that plausible here for Dark Zero in the 4v2 situation with Bones having upgraded to the Bulldog.
I mean, how the hell does Bones get away with that? Pushing up into B. Super talented duelist, added a lot of firepower to this Fluffy Aimers team when he joined up halfway through Challengers this year. Has really made a difference, both him and Jonah, those 2 additions. They're going to get away with winning this eco round out of nowhere. I mean, that was just straight up shots being hit, nothing intricate, no crazy util little combo setup to find a pick. No, they just tapped on heads. Remind you that we're playing an FPS game.
That's a good shot, though, on Bones. I mean, he's been leading the charge in terms of the team when it comes kind of to ACS, but his role has been one of those that we've kind of credited a couple of other teams. Like, he is a selfless duo when it comes to playing into a duelist entry role. It just feels interesting because, you know, obviously kind of going back to stage 1 and pretty much all of last year, we spotlighted duelists for being able to pop off and take over games. Bones has that potential, but him running things like, you know, playing it right here on the Neon, it just kind of goes to show that he's using the duelist role more in kind of a supportive, how do we break down the site as a squad, not just me running in and hopefully finding entry kills.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this iteration of the roster, they have more than enough firepower for that follow-up to find the trades off them. Pancakes has been great this season, but all right, here for Dark Zero. They're trying to press up towards the A side of the map, and Fluffy Aimers are opening things up in a relatively passive way. Just covering any aggression. B-Dog, opportunity. Pancakes falls off. Fluffy Aimers aware now that they've lost all control of A.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how they try to pivot with this. I mean, you got the early trap wire down at C long, plus also the spy cam at grass here for Fluffy Aimers. So looking like they maybe want to try to throw some influence in towards garage. Maybe see if they can pull back that Dark Zero defense over towards the outside ZA. But after a smoke, a Trailblazer is used. So this is pretty expensive here for Fluffy Aimers, trying to establish some consideration that, hey, we still could be looking towards A, and the defense has to respect that.
Yeah, that's the power of having that Viper wall there. At any time when you put it up, those defenders could think that someone is crossing the short, but Fluffy Aimers' intention are going to see. Dark Zero, they're ready, though. 3 players stacked up.
We did holding on to a paranoia, just waiting to see if the sentry turret activates. That will be his call to go. Overdrive out Bones, trying to get on the corner, but I was going to send it paranoia. Hits perfectly, but it doesn't make a difference. Bones still comes away with 2. Problem is, the rest of the defense holds on to the choke point, and that may be about the end of this hit for Fluffy Aimers. Have to work through with Neptune and Pancake, and the angles are being watched. Corey able to find another. How about the little double tap from Corey on 3 for the round, 1 off the Empress going into round 4.
That's a fantastic call from their IGL Stellar. Just reading that all of that utility pressure towards A was simply a fake to go elsewhere. They decided to take a little bit of a gamble, sack towards C. They have 3 players there, one floating around towards that B2C link as well. So ready for that hit, despite Fluffy Aimers' effort to divert their attention towards A.
Yep.
And all that good work that FAIM did to win that eco on the prior round out the window.
Kind of puts us in a weird economic situation when you win the anti-eco round, puts us in kind of a round 5 full buy. But Fluffy Aimers still with a good enough economy to at least get a couple of rifles into the picture here, so definitely not a round you want to say is an easy win for Dark Zero. And at the moment, actually not even going to bother with the A-long setup here, just trusting into Stellar's utility from the high ground at Heaven to be the only major defensive consideration, as Dark Zero are saying if they don't have rifles, they're likely going to be hitting up the middle in some form.
Yeah, Pancakes has got himself inserted in short, but will be falling back. B-Dog, patience on the angle. Good crosshair placement. Aware of Bones even. Wow. Lovely 2-piece from B-Dog, and that should close this round up.
Yeah.
Unless Pancakes can make a miracle happen. Well-timed drone from Stellar to ping him out, get that information as well.
That's after the recon also illuminated some of the players deep towards A-long. But still, Heaven pushed back. Stellar does take quite a considerable amount of damage. So that now passes the baton over to Corey to try to hold on to the site. The spike has been collected. It's on the way. Slowly, but it is on the way. And B-Dog has also encapsulated the entirety of the flank. So this would have to be a 3v5 hold on the site with just 1 rifle and 2 pistols. Corey's still watching the cross through sewer. Absolutely perfect. Also the dismiss. I don't know if he fully saw Jonah or not, but that Lear will allow him to re-peek, and the follow-up from the Nano Swarm will put this round out of reach. Decent effort for Fluffy Aimers, especially considering they were able to still sneak away a plant, but all in all, flawless round for Dark Zero.
Fantastic work from B-Dog there. Dark Zero the entire time, just playing very passively on A, like you pointed out. They're just ready to play for a full retake there if necessary. Something that all these teams put a lot of practice into are those set retakes, and they were more than happy to play one out if necessary, but not even really the case. That was just lovely crosshair placement from B-Dog, who, when he's on the duelist for Dark Zero, when he gets to play that jet, which is his original role, which he played for a super long time, you know, you've got that duelist in reliable hands. He is going to pop off. He's a very consistent player. Now, Fluffy Aimers, they are finally going to be on that full buy. You know, Sans 1 Guardian and light armor, but close enough.
Close enough for Valorant. Problem will be, an aggressive step up here from Corey with Stellar nearby. Trapwire is in the way, and it looks like FAIMers may have actually seen a shoulder or two. Adder also recognizing the threat over towards Garage, has to pop the nano to slow things down. Smoke also in place, but as we move over towards the outside play, yeah, 1-for-1 exchange. Not the worst news here for Dark Zero, but you're going to need Stellar to move back, especially with midgrass starting to open up. Seekers charge, Seekers push, and maybe an isolation towards We Did, but the Paranoia gives them some separation.
Just going to fall back. Dark Zero going for pure timing plays right now. Drone from Stellar. A nice timing on that one. This B gets smoked off, further delaying Fluffy Aimer's intentions of working into that site and allowing time for this We Did flank. This is just a round of timings, individual plays from everyone.
And I think the easy way to categorize this here, Wyatt, is Dark Zero is playing with some confidence. Whoa, what a read from Mummy. Just can't quite find the shots, though. Although that is enough information for the last two members for FAIM to make their way on towards C for a post-plant setup, and Pancakes will get to work clearing out C long. So this will isolate the Fluffy Aimers post-plant just a touch. But the question will be, where is Dark Zero coming from? And that has to be a major consideration, especially for Neptune trying to stay on the site.
Yeah, and the round will end how it is began and was in the middle, which is very individualistic. Even these FAIM players right now, they are not together. Neptune's going to have to take some straight-up duels with this Guardian as Pancakes wraps around.
Well, DZ will get re-entry in towards the site. Neptune holding in the dark cover. Oh, and Pancakes on the cross. So well done, but now it's down to We Did. Opening shots to Geeson. Stellar able to hold this thing, and he may try to commit for the full, but no, the right click for Pancakes saves the day. What a post-plant hold in a 2v4 for FAIM.
He played that so well, and despite going for that wrap to Garage, was worried there that he'd be disconnected from Neptune in that 2 versus 3, but actually found the perfect timing, and that dark cover that he threw down for Neptune to play around was perfect. Pancakes with a massive play to bring them back. Yeah, that cover right there that Neptune was hiding in, able to peek out, then swing together. As Pancakes held that cross, that was beautiful.
What a lifeline. I mean, in a round that looked like it was about to be a wash. Now all of a sudden you find yourself back to within one. Finger guns at the ready for Bones. Don't anticipate seeing it in this one, as a lot of the action will likely be constricted by a lockdown on the defensive side. Bones, though, once again, seeing early pressure. I mean, I'm telling you, Dark Zero, not afraid to say, here we are, come fight us. Not just over towards mid, but you've got the angle of the Outlaw being watched by B-Dog, and he doesn't even need the dash, although still spends it to get back to safety.
Just going to slip on out of there. I mean, right now, DZ, it looks like they think they're playing Replication and every player is on Reyna. They're just dry peeking so many of these angles. We did just taking a nice little stroll out of Garage, find a little timing. Like, brother, you can't dismiss. If you get a kill, you're going to get traded. They are really trying to take it to them on an individual level at the moment.
And look at this. There may be a read here. That FAIM are committed in towards this B site, but it's not even just through the B site. Bones is going to go deeper for the relay bolt. Although it does connect, doesn't make a difference in the face of the Outlaw. Adder also stays safe away from the focused hit from the front. Do they know Neptune is lurking? How does Corey know that Neptune is lurking? Shots are good. Pancakes try to hold on to the front door, but here comes the Paranoia from the back, plus the lockdown. It's a complete stranglehold of FAIM on the site. We Did knows that he's going to have players trying to go his direction, and Mummy will not be able to get there. Pancakes try to make it interesting, but it's a clean round for Dark Zero.
What a shot from Corey onto Neptune. That was wild. He is looking clean right now. And good fortune that he's playing the Reyna when his aim is hitting like that today. Been massively impressed with Corey this year on all the different roles that he's been playing. I genuinely think this is the best he's ever been. Playing Cypher at times, playing different initiators, Breach, KO, multiple different duelists, and he's genuinely performing on all of them. This is scrappy as hell right now, but when you have your duelists hitting like Dark Zeros are, they are going to come out on top in an individualistic game.
Well, that's kind of been the story for Dark Zero, especially kind of at the beginning when this roster was put together with B-Dog and Corey side by side. It's one of those things like, who runs that main duelist role? Because either could very well do it. Now they're finding a way to keep aggression onto the table, even with some quote-unquote weird agents being pulled. But now We Did back in the picture as well. I mean, these are three of your toppest fragging players in Challengers NA. and it's coming to fruition here early, although it is just 6 rounds in. And here we go. For the first time, we're going to see Fluffy Aimers get a little bit more aggressive through this Viper's wall at A. They get sewers control, and they have numbers to potentially battle back this hit from Dark Zero's defense.
Corey just content playing in that smoke, waiting things out, seeing if anyone over pushes, but that won't be the case. Dark Zero have been very content with just playing contact towards long, walking up long, taking A main. Fluffy Aimers haven't really put a lot of early pressure there, so DC don't even really need to commit a lot of util to control that area of the map. It will be coming in B though off the Trailblazer. Spike being planted with that pit down.
A lot of reveal through it, but not an opportunity to connect on any of the information gathered. And ooh, we did just gets caught trying to sneak around the backside of the site. So now you've all of a sudden got the lightning fingers inside the Viper's pit, and it's just spam city right now coming out of this. Although B-Dog connects for 2. How has he managed this? Corey from the front can also dismiss, clear out more of the pit. B-Dog following behind it with now the knives out, and it's just down to Mummy like that. Opportunity to at least spam through the decay, but Corey just runs and guns him. That is a unreal retake, and it all starts with B-Dog connecting on 2 outlaw shots.
And that is crazy. I mean, B-Dog is, and always has been, lethal with the scoped weapons. How does he get that kill on Bones, though? What was happening to Bones when he was running around? He got caught on the wall, it looked like?
Yeah.
Just kind of stifled his movement, gave B-Dog a nice, easy shot. And then Corey again with the tap. I mean, Dark Zero do a great job of just encircling all of the players within that pit, despite them being at that man disadvantage, finding great fights to take. The aim is so sick right now from the 2 Dark Zero duelists. They look absolutely on point. And you love to see it from this team that, I mean, frankly, you were worried that they might go out of playoffs with a bit of a whimper after having such an explosive stage 2. They've been fantastic all year long. Things started a little bit slow for them. I remember one of their first matches was against Winthrop University. I think it was week 2. They took a loss there, and I remember reading them post about how frustrating that was and how they weren't living up to the expectations they set for themselves. And then post that map, had just elevated week after week, have gone on a tear. And it really would have been a shame to see them go out in playoffs early. Of course, Fluffy Aimers, no slouch. They're trying to make that the case, but you want to see a team with quality players like this at their best, and we are getting that right now. They are hitting.
Absolutely the case. And on the other side of here for Fluffy Aimers, again, not a lot to go off of in terms of what they want to do here on Haven because, well, candidly, they haven't played it. But this does feel like a critical round for them in terms of how do we actually get these full purchases to find success? Because Dark Zero have controlled the tempo of the map, and this time it's trying to catch off this weird timing that Dark Zero has pulled through grass. But the Cloudburst used as a one-way, stops everything in its tracks. Bones tried to follow up off of an early flash. This does not work out, and Dark Zero carry an early 5v4 into the round.
Bones is really struggling to find impact going for these like deep dive, aggressive plays. Just trying to go off of one guiding light from the sky, that is just not significant enough utility. You know, perhaps wishing that that sky was a breach, that there was a fault line there, you know, something of more significance. It's really tough to timing that with just the guiding light. And that results in Dark Zero having an early man advantage. Just playing these crossfires now pretty passively.
Here.
I think the thing about this playthrough Garage to see is the fact that if this gets calmed, Stellar could easily pop a Hunter Fury from across the map and did a lot of damage here, or at least split this up. Sentry turret for Adder, just a little bit of a body blocking tool at the moment. And here comes the hit, and there's just no way it gets through the choke point. Neptune at least able to tally up one, but all things told, this was very calm, very controlled for Dark Zero. The only one left alive is Mummy with a rifle on site.
Yeah, they just played safe crossfires off that early pick. B-Dog ready to support Garage through window. Mummy, oh my god, double spray down actually has a chance.
Well, the plant's going to come through. Recon Bolt had revealed them for a moment. Shock Dart's also in play, and the Paranoia will pretty much lock Mummy in place. And Dark Zero will let her know about it. Still, though, an opportunity to keep things a little bit tight, and I think more importantly here, some damage to the eco to make sure that it's not a runaway economy for Dark Zero.
Yeah, despite them winning a number of rounds in a row, their economy's not as out of control as it could be. Trying to keep it a little honest as we get to the latter portion of this half.
One enemy remaining.
Adder does a good job getting his there as well. It's just simple from Dark Zero. I mean, listen, there's not going to be a whole lot of intricacy to the game when you have the double duelist on Aven.
Facts.
But they're playing it to perfection, and they're playing to the win con.
I think more importantly is the simple fact that it for Fluffy Gamers, playing this double controller, I'll be honest, I just kind of want to see them throw a little bit more early. Get these smokes down. Don't allow them to push up through sewer and A long at the same time. They figured that out here, at least in this round, but you also have to make sure that, keep your eye on what's happening over through mid, because Dark Zero have tried to play aggressive in the first 20 seconds. And finally, it feels like for maybe the first time, Fluffy Gamers have kind of stopped that from happening, at least across the board yet.
Yeah, they're relegated to this eco, and Dark Zero playing this round relatively passive so far. Some garage control for Bones. Might catch out Corey on the drop, and does. That's a good first. Adder ready to try and get this trade, but the jump around the corner from Bones is nice. Slips out of there with just a sliver of HP left to his name. B-Dog! That timing is brutal, but still catches it. Evens things up back into the 4v4.
God, you just thought, though, that Pancakes was going to swing this entire round back towards FAIM's favor, but now Adder in position to hear and stop the rotation. Looking to double down on it. Neptune battling back, has to kind of force the battleground here outside of grass, and Adder's very aware of that. Not the cleanest of shots, though, so with Mummy pushed forward, there's a chance at a post plant here. Maybe even more so if Mummy could find a way to keep this defense further split, which he's been successful on. Now it's just down to dealing with this hit coming in through garage. Plant is in. B-Dog, Adder in a little bit of trouble. Hold on a second. This is still winnable. Seekers are out. Chance to reaffirm what this post plant looks like. But around the back, we did stellar. Finding the kills they need. Just down to Neptune for a 1v2. And, well, he's got a good look at the first. Just can't quite connect to the headshot. And we'll go 6-2.
A good attempt with that off angle. Once again, Dark Zero able to get the retake on to C for a 7th. This game is really the tale of two comps. Is that the Dark Zero one is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. They're playing it exactly as they need to. And for Fluffy Gamers, I think they're trying to do way too much with this comp. They're trying to find moments to set up Bones for these super aggro fast plays where he's going deep, but they don't have the initiator utility to do it. But then at the same time, they're trying to throw some fakes in, like they're working the map with the Viper, with the wall up, and it's like they're trying to play two styles of the game with one comp, and they're getting both achieved at only 50%.
Yeah.
And, Dark Zero, they're just keeping things simple. They're just playing together, taking fights, taking crossfires with these duelists, and making it look way too easy.
Oh, this will be an interesting little scuffle here. FAIM going to stack the box at A long. Dismissing out is Corey. Relay bolt is in. B-Dog going to get some help from the Hunter's Fury at range. Corey still holding with the Empress in play. A couple of tags are out, but realistically speaking, for FAIM, you're kind of fine with that. 1-for-1, the only major issue here is you have lost Pancakes, and the Omen off the table is going to make the execute a little bit more difficult, especially considering that Neptune has spent the entire utility belt already.
Let me try to draw some attention. B, break that utility. Fake that there could be a walk up through that area of the map. You can see Celery just re-cleared it with a recon. Now Weeded and Adder doubled up. And Garage spray is haphazard from Mummy. Goes down 4-on-3 now as Bones tries to gain space in the C site.
I think they heard him though, and now they know. Yep, and Bones just gets caught looking the wrong direction for a brief moment. Man, a couple of individual moments here that Fluffy Gamers are really going to want back. Although it's still one of those things you already mentioned it a couple of different times. The individual prowess of Dark Zero is really coming to life. Neptune's been the only one to really kind of throw a wrench into the system, but this round is too far gone. We're going to get an 8-2 start to this half, and Dark Zero just continuing to impress with the tempo they want to play as soon as the barriers drop.
The DZ just have no qualms with egoing the Viper wall over towards A. They are just walking down that side of the map. They're never being pressured hard early. Corey's just walking all the way pushed through without having the trips to worry about. And Fluffy Gamers are going to be forced to take a timeout pretty late into this half. You can see the smiles on Dark Zero right now. They're chilling. They're content. Can definitely see why.
I mean, we're encroaching upon the playbook going to page 1, which is hold W at this moment if you're Dark Zero. And if this is what they're getting success-wise on defense, Wyatt, I'd start to be talking about what do we do on the second half if you're Fluffy Aimers, just due to the fact that not only are you still going to deal with aggression, but it's going to be more concentrated aggression, where it's not just 2 players playing off each other. It could be the full force of 3-4 members hitting you with utility and quick pace. So, you know, there is a lot of this kind of battle between the go, go, go of Dark Zero and the whoa, whoa, whoa for Fluffy Aimers. They're just not quite able to control the tempo, even though you've got pretty decent agents to do that. I mean, there's really, like you mentioned, the disrespect towards the mummy wall has been the main focus for Dark Zero. And I don't know, I feel like if you're Fluffy Aimers, you just need to put someone else on top of it and say, hey, this is our wall. Don't do that anymore. Like, don't stop playing through it.
Yeah, they really haven't done anything to try to fight those players that are walking down. You know, I think there is a timing that could be taken from them to, you know, continue to bait this walk down and then pop out on them.
Yeah.
With a flash through the wall, something along those lines, which they just haven't found a moment to do. See if this will be the round. As once again, Dark Zero, they are going to go for a stroll down A long, it looks like.
I mean, it's the recon bolt, it's the dark omen smoke deep over towards the backside of A. It just controls lobby almost completely, although Pancakes will find a way to slip a little bit deeper in towards sewer. So maybe a chance to actually out-rotate the defense, rotating back to A. Lots of pressure. Could throw the consideration for Dark Zero to help out this C site, but
look at
this is everything. And Corey, I say he's watching this for this crossfire. B-Dog's scope will come into play, and we'll get a 1-for-1 exchange. Dark Zero still holding across the map.
Scrappy fight, but Jonah goes down, and now no smokes for Fluffy Aimers in a 3 versus 4 to try and breach into one of these sites. Adder in trouble.
Bones just tries to pick up the tempo. High gear not going to work out, and once again, it falls to Neptune. And once again, it feels like it's a little out of reach, although single Chels coming through for Dark Zero. Give him a little bit of a lifeline. Tag out, though, from Stellar. Gets Neptune down to a single bullet, essentially worth of health. And if B-Dog feels like he finds himself in a precarious spot, he could pop the blades if needed, but it may not get to that point. Neptune just taking care of a couple extra shots will continue to allow Dark Zero to essentially know where he is. Here's the swing, clean shot from Neptune. B-Dog's still going to trust the scope here. Tries to fake out the plant. B-Dog still holding on the corner. Shorty's out. I think he knows that he's one shot, and he may have won the rotation, and that's indeed the case. Shorty will work. Dark Zero will hold on to the round.
I mean, that was a great effort from Pancakes over towards A. Finally trying to find a way to expose Dark Zero's defensive play there. But just getting traded out, going down. The Fluffy Aimer side losing smokes, then they feel like, oh god, we have to try to get into the site now. We can't let them post up somewhere. Rush things in. Get gunned down. This is just brutality from Dark Zero. They're looking individually very on point, and I just don't think this Fluffy Aimers comp is offering a solution to their woes.
It's just the amount of forward pressure on every part of the map. Now we're getting an op in through garage initially. That does get pushed off just a touch, forces the blades, but that was to be expected in round 12. Adder's still going to try to hold on to this corner. All of his utilities behind him, though, so don't think he's going to want to stay there for too much longer, if at all can help a possible retreat. Thing about it is, Dark Zero have reinforced the C side of the map completely. It's just that dominance towards A continues to go untested.
Yikes. Lovely shots from Weeded. Adder swinging as well. B-Dog picks up a player long. It's just crumbling. We're destined for the 10-2 half.
Definitely seems that way. Stellar also watching the angle in case there's a lurk in towards B. It's just all bases have been covered. And I'm not going to lie, regardless of how this round comes to an end, I would be terrified if you're Fluffy Aimers going onto a defensive half against the power of B-Dog, Corey, and Weeded right now.
Switching sides.
At least for their sake, you know, they have the Cypher and the Viper, which does offer a decent amount of stopping power for the hit. The trips to try and deny that jet dash, mollies to come in that could potentially, you know, stymie that second wave of the players behind the jet from getting in to support them. But even still, no matter how much good work Fluffy Aimers can do here, this seems like an insurmountable hill to climb. It's just too much of a lead that Dark Zero have already garnered from a fantastic defensive half. I mean, they really did. They kept it simple. They played with a lot of confidence, went for tons of flanks, exposed all of the holes that Fluffy Aimers left. It was excellent from them.
Yep, absolutely agree. A little bit of a walk down C at the moment. Smoke in the way. Spot cam also here, and ooh, Jonah late peek into garage. Works out for the first, and ooh, hold from B-Dog. Jumps in without really much support. The Paranoia is now just first coming through for Dark Zero, but all of that extra pressure still amounts to some great eliminations. Pancake's seen in the back corner. They're looking for the jump peek just to try to manage the health pool, but the kill still comes through regardless, leaving Mummy with a 1v2. Decay starting to fade away, and the spike will get planted. Yeah, Mummy on the corner, clean first shot, but Stellar's the one you have to worry about. Full HP with the Ghost, and he will win back the angle, leaving Mummy just hoping for some shoulders. And whoa! What? He's able to catch him through the Viper's wall with a headshot? Hello?
That is crazy from Mummy, the veteran in the server. I mean, this guy's been playing forever at a high level in Valorant. That was sick from him. Corey going to be a little bit frustrated. It looked like him and Stellar tried to double swing, but the angle that Mummy was playing at, tucked on the left side of the stairs there, meant it was just a pure 1v1 against Corey. Wins that out with the headshot. Maybe could have opted to play that a little bit differently when Dark Zero was still in the 2v1, and it's given Fluffy Aimers at least a small opening. The door's cracked open. Definitely a ton more work to be done, obviously. That goes without saying. But it's got to start somewhere.
And I feel like at this point, Wyatt, we're really testing your vocabulary in terms of how do you talk about 10-2, 9-3 halves? Besides,
you're goddamn right. I mean, listen, if I learned anything from yesterday, it's that there's always going to be at least a fake comeback in a Challengers game. Every single game yesterday was a dominant first half with a crazy comeback. So I'm basically expecting it at this point, to be honest. This should end in a 13-11.
A wise man once said, "It's never truly chalked."
Matter of fact, I'm going to Google synonyms for a comeback while you make the call right now.
Someone get my guy Merriam-Webster immediately. Here we go. Got to just force this 4v5 down A long right here for Dark Zero. Only a little benefit of this play is the fact that they actually will be able to take this site, it looks like, away from just Mummy, who has actually already kind of given it away just a touch, is playing off the angle. So Fluffy Aimers going to have to play retake. Just comes down to, can Dark Zero find a pick here? Otherwise, what does it look like in terms of setting up your post plant with just pistols? That's the only real consideration here for Dark Zero, giving themselves a lifeline.
Maybe from this position we'll be able to deal a bit of damage. Corey does have a Sheriff, as does Adder. We've seen the way that Corey's been using that tap aim so far. Been looking effortless with the Vandal in his hands.
First flash out, Neptune considering the drop down. Good shock dart though coming through. A little bit of chip damage now secured. Neptune's actually going to fall in that. Wait, surely not. And how about the re-entry? No. Corey's going to get a weapon and sneak away with the dismiss. This is very doable. But now it just rests to see what timing Adder can get around the back. The first shot is good. And oh my goodness. It's a Blacklight Thrifty and a 4v5 for Dark Zero.
Fluffy Aimers were taking their time getting in on that retake. Of course, they have the superior weaponry, so that'll be fine. They'll win things out. And then, oh, never mind. Corey with the Sheriff is in sickening form today. 2-piece, 2 headshots. Those shocks from Stellar as well. Bones was just getting bogged down in heaven.
Big time.
That is simply something that should not be happening for Fluffy Aimers, and that seems like the nail in the coffin. We should be headed to sunset in a brief moment. I don't think there's any coming back from that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those times you put the house on that line. We'll see. We've got a little bit of a step up from Jonah over towards C-Long and some double focus over towards Sewers, but first blood through Garage forces Jonah's hands, and he will meet the same fate. So C wide open. And the defense will try to convoy their way back over from the A side of the map, and this will be a 5v3 post plant with weapon superiority and Empress and a Hunter's Fury. The deck is definitely stacked in favor of Dark Zero to get to round point.
Yeah, they are more than pleased to just take a passive line early in that round, wait out any defensive aggression, snatch it up. They do exactly that, and they should be getting to 12 on the board. Unless they decide to all funnel through garage and get killed by a Bucky, but that doesn't seem particularly likely, so.
No, it does not. Well, FAIM may just try to play for some exit kills here. I mean, I don't know what you say. You can't really figure a 3v5 is going to go all that well, but at the same rate, you're also going to be looking at a 12-3 scoreline, so maybe you got to do something, but not going to be a chance for it. Dark Zero will get to 12. And Fluffy Aimers, well, we've seen some comebacks, like you said, but this one would take the cake if they pull this one off.
Yeah, that would be an all-timer. I am fully expecting to go to sunset after this fantastic performance from Dark Zero. I'm still just thinking about how great it must feel for them, the morale for the team, to have Weeded come back, to be in form like this straight away. They have a tough task ahead of them, no doubt. They are in the lower bracket as of the first round. They have to run it all the way to the lower bracket finals, win that game to qualify for the Ascension Tournament later in Monterey. It's been what they've been working towards all year long. And it's great to see them in form like this. And I know they feel even better about that. I mean, after the way things started in the playoffs, not how they had hoped. What a fast bounce back.
Oh, and the thing about it, though, is like, as much as this one map has been a little bit more like it for Dark Zero, they're still a long way away from getting into consideration for Monterey. And the path is difficult because next round for either of these two teams would be Oxygen. And FAIM is still staying alive here. Clean round to this point. Double swing doesn't really work out here, though. Bones looked like he was trying to bait and switch for the player in the corner. That's Mummy, but Smoke gets in the way. Weeded and Adder find a couple of trail away kills, and now all of a sudden they know Mummy's on site. They're gonna get this back to a 2v2 all of a sudden. Pancakes in the corner. Oh, the transfer too soon for Adder, and Pancakes will find the final two to keep Fluffy alive.
It looked like Weeded might have been a little bit too locked in, just didn't even realize that he had a single bullet left, or was just feeling maxed out confidence, which wouldn't surprise me either. The way that we've been seeing Dark Zero play, every player they've got has been happy to just take contact fights, swing aggressively, look for timings. Except for Stellar, who's really just been chilling in the back, sending out some drones here and there while everyone else goes crazy. He's just, you know, being the little commander, little information gatherer. It was a good round from Fluffy Aimers, but I'm nowhere near believing. Not even close.
Yeah, the word comeback is still well beyond our reach at the moment, especially considering that they're going to survive through things like Hunter's Furies, lockdowns, just to get one. I mean, this might get a little bit of like the gas pedal gets let off a little bit for Dark Zero, but yeah, like you mentioned, the path is arduous and it is long. And a new threat has now started to develop with a stack up through the front of the map. Hunter's Fury going to get called just to open the door here. Counter Paranoia, though, allows both Bones and Pancakes to get in rather unscathed. Just comes down to how greedy does Bones try to get. Yeah, he sees him in the corner. A couple of follow-ups, just trying to see how much damage can be tallied, but DZ is out of there. We're going to go to a 4v5 the rest of the way.
Trying to take advantage of that in Viper's Wall, which is great for fighting close B, making it a bit more difficult for the attacking side to work their way through Garage, but with it having gone down, Adder more than happy to try and take this space. Play a tight angle, see if someone will try and walk down.
30
Pretty clear.
seconds left.
I love this little reset for Dark Zero and then hitting right back into the same site. No more Paranoia in the mix, so this will be a lot cleaner of a retake, if you want to call it that, or at least a re-execute into the B zone. Bones throwing some shots over on the corner through the connector, tries to beat the timing with the slide out, not going to work. Now the focus for Corey, right over towards Jonah. He sees the tip of the hat, but Jonah still goes 1 for 1. Keeps the numbers in favor of Fluffy Aimers. But this is taking time. Pancakes on one side, the rest of the team on the other, and whoa, nice snap for Pancakes. Fast lane goes up, and here come the rest of Fluffy Aimers. A clean retake gets Fluffy to 5.
That was a nasty shot from Pancakes. What the hell? That must have looked... I mean, that looked insane from not his point of view, but from his. That was a crazy snap. Had some other good moments in this map despite the scoreline. It's been one of the players that's been looking on point at the very least. You know, for the sake of Fluffy Aimers, when we head over to Sunset, their home map, which I'm still expecting to move on to any second now, which you can obviously tell by the phrases I'm using and the tone of my voice. We'll check in on the belief status in about 6 rounds from now.
Yeah. But the Hopium tank is starting to fill up a little bit. It's not empty anymore.
A couple drops.
Like out of an eyedropper, not out of a bucket, friends. We're still a long way away. And now all of a sudden, Adder does what Adder does best. He is in a spot to lurk up through mid. Just comes down to what this hit from the front starts to take the focus for Fluffy Aimers defense away from. Lear's going to pop as soon as this trap wire gets deleted. That's enough to at least isolate Neptune in the corner, but no one puts Neptune in a corner. He's going to flash himself back into the mix, but cannot quite find the timing. Bones off his trade. Paranoid for a moment. Still tries to swing with Mummy still in support. And we're going to get a 3v2, so the defense holds strong. And on the out, Stellar also gets seen. The only question is, where is Adder, because he wasn't a part of this play.
Could have tried to lead with the spike if he wanted, but wants to take his time, try and find a kill, get closer to evening the numbers, but Mummy ready for that, watching the angle, and Adder had to clear a couple too many corners in that situation. It's been very straightforward on these attacking rounds from Dark Zero so far, and I'm not sure if that's due to the comp that they have, or due to the fact that they want to get this game over with because they think that it's already over, or a little bit of both. And I'm going to go with a little bit of both.
Thing about it, though, is Neptune and Pancakes have played a great game, trying to stall out this aggression. They've done at least some serviceable jobs on the first half, but here on the defensive side, they have been great. And that is going to have to be something that Dark Zero needs to start throwing some respect to.
Take flight.
And an opportunity here for the Owl Drone to maybe get Mummy in the corner. Yeah, that's at least a little bit of information. Maybe a chance for some shock darts to try to push off the corner, but for the moment, DZ, yeah, just going to use their utility to try to clear off these angles.
Destroyed.
Not sure if Neptune actually saw B-Dog with the Trailblazer there. Dark Zero have been content doing the noise cut re-hits. Fluffy Aimers, a little wise to it. Going to retain this 3-player stack on the site with multiple crosshairs watching long.
I love the Seeker's call. Timing-wise, this is absolutely perfect. Now they know B-Dog's in the corner, and whoa, Neptune's like, whoa, hold on a second. Let's play this a little bit deeper in towards the site. Bones watching the cross. Smoke will come through. Spam through the smoke. Not going to fully connect. Relay bolt, though, still stalling things out. 37 seconds on the clock. The hit is totally a match with all stingers in the front, but it's a full crossfire setup that initially comes out decently, but all of a sudden, DZ just storming the beaches of Normandy, find the kills they need, and that's going to be enough to get the spike down.
Oh, why is this always how it ends? It's never on the full buy. It's always on the half buy during the comeback. Somehow things slip away.
Well, they're going to have to challenge a lockdown. We did just inside the dark cover. Footsteps have been heard. Jonah still gets one relatively cleanly. Keeps his life a little while longer, maybe a second lease on life, but tagged down too low. And then as soon as the dark cover falls, we'll find and take care of Pancake. So a 13-6 and a technical Blacklight Thrifty at the end. But Dark Zero's got to be feeling good about the fact that, hey, we bounce back, we get We Did, and all of a sudden this new comp with the Reyna works out pretty much as intended.
Yeah, they're looking pretty happy. A lot of smiles whenever we were on the different timeouts, whenever you're getting a look at the team. They seem to be having a good time. And obviously, the score reflects why, the play reflects why, the shots that we saw them hitting reflects why. I mean, like what Corey was doing in that first half, the Vandal aim was smooth. He's looking ice cold today.
Things are looking locked in for Dark Zero, but Fluffy Aimers not going down without a fight, and now they have a chance to hopefully square up a little bit more evenly, if not a little bit better, on Sunset for map number 2. We'll step away, get the analysts back involved, and we'll come back for our second map right after this.
Big